Hey guys, Boss from Ramos, and this Sunday did not go very well for the Miami Dolphins. They lost to the Buffalo Bills 21-14 in a battle for the AFC East. Both teams finished off the season at 11-6, but Buffalo walks away with the AFC East crown, and Dolphins have to go on the road and play against the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills become the 2 seed and host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Gut-wrenching loss by the Miami Dolphins. Uh, couldn't keep running the ball in the second half. Abandoned the running game more so, if anything. But yeah, it was a battle, and Buffalo made the extra plays, which we're gonna see in a sec. Made the extra plays to make a difference in this matchup. Uh, like first drive for the Dolphins, Tua picked off, targeting Tyreek Hill, and then Josh Allen starting to move the ball with Dalton Kincaid getting the ball upfield, and it doesn't end very well for them because Eli Apple intercepts the ball. He gets up and tries to return it and gets brought down at the 6 yard line. Dolphins make nothing of it. Khalil Shakir get a big chunk yardage right here, and then Josh Allen, man, just playing backyard football with the Dolphins gets lit up. But then Deshaun Elliott comes down with it. And at this point, Dolphins, no one scored. Interception on each side. Dolphins ended up getting a second one there. And then Tua finding Tyreek Hill and then let the boy go to work with Achan. He's just going to get in the end zone for 6. And this was a beautiful, beautiful catch by Stephon Diggs here. Contested, brings the ball in. Ball doesn't move when it touches the ground. You can't ask for a better reception if you're a Bills fan. Andrew Van Ginkel bites up the ball, and Trent Sherfield comes down with it. Yes, I know. I'm the same way, Mike McDaniel. Trent Sherfield gets the toes in and continues his possession. But, man, oh, man, the Dolphins tried firing back, and they did. Beautiful ball by Tua to Cedric Wilson. And then he finds Tyreek Hill in the end zone after that pass. And he's flipping out. He's enjoying it. Dolphins are tied up with the Bills now 7-7. Big stop here by Jerome Baker before half. Bills had no more timeout. Timeout's clock expired, and Dolphins were able to stop the Bills from scoring just before half. Big sack by Melvin Ingram, but Josh Allen says, you know what, I'm going to just keep playing some backyard football, get immobile, make some guys miss, actually they're flying around. This is the most beautiful strip sack I've ever seen. And, fumbles are not pretty. And somehow Christian Wilkins made one look absolutely stunning and beautiful. He's enjoying it. Oh, man. And this is one of the heartbreakers. Right there. Hardy takes a punt return for a touchdown and would tie up the Bills and the Dolphins at 14 apiece. And, man, just not good. Dolphins just couldn't make anything happen in the second half. Josh Allen finds Dalton Kincaid and then Khalil Shakir to get into the red zone. And then who else but Dawson Knox extending it out and crossing the goal line. Dolphins' final drive. Tua's targeting Chase Claypool, and it's intercepted by Taylor Rapp. Bills were funny by posting something saying, "That's a wrap." And I don't blame him for posting that. It's a play on words, pretty good, but you obviously saw there Tua was not the most pleased with that throw, just overall performance. This wasn't the best night for the Dolphins. So let's put things in perspective. Dolphins had a 3-game lead on the Buffalo Bills 5 weeks ago for the AFC East. Ever since then, the Dolphins have surrendered that lead, and it came down to win and you become AFC East champions in the final week of the season for both teams. And the Buffalo Bills came in and took that from the Miami Dolphins. Man, oh man, does it hurt as a Dolphins fan seeing that opportunity slip away. On the bright side, should the Dolphins have played and beat the Bills last night, they would have hosted them in the first round the following week. Do I hate that the Dolphins lost? Obviously. Do I would have hated it more though, playing the Bills on back-to-back weeks and possibly losing in the first round of the playoffs, because The Bills were obviously a team that made the bigger plays, the most stops, etc., and just made it happen. So kudos to them. They definitely came in and got what they wanted, and they deserve it. They made the bigger plays. Let's talk about some stats. So first downs, Bills had 26, Dolphins had 16. Let's see, third down efficiency, Bills were 9 of 15, Dolphins were 4 of 10. And then Dolphins didn't do any fourth down conversions, like didn't attempt any. And the Bills went 1 of 3 on fourth down. Let's see what else we got here. Penalties. Bills had 6 penalties for 41 total yards. Dolphins had 4 penalties for 29 yards. Not a crazy penalized game, which was pretty good. Dolphins were in the red zone one time and were successful in that one red zone attempt. That was a Tyreek Hill touchdown. And then the Bills were 2 of 5 in the red zone. So pretty good red zone defense by the Dolphins. That was one of the keys to victories, bend but don't break type of defense. The Bills, I want to say had 3 turnovers. Yeah, the Bills had 3 turnovers. Like, they lost the ball 3 times. Dolphins had 2 turnovers. They were both interceptions. Time of possession, Bills dominated time possession big time. 38 minutes and 7 seconds. Dolphins 21 minutes and 53 seconds. Oh, man. So what does this mean for the Miami Dolphins? Obviously, kind of went over it in the beginning. Dolphins are going to go now to Kansas City to play the Chiefs Saturday night at 8 p.m. Game will be on Peacock. I think you have to pay for it to watch it, which kind of sucks. Just like another added subscription in this subscription-based world. And then what else? The Bills will host the Steelers. What time is that game at? That game is at 1 p.m. on CBS on Sunday. So for Bills fans watching, there's your update on that. Let's talk about the player stats. So Josh Allen went 30 of 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 3 times for a loss of 14 yards. And then we got Tua going 17 of 27, 173 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, no sacks. HN has a passing stat here, and it was just that he was sacked for a loss of 6, which I find a little weird, but I mean, I don't recall. All right, Buffalo Bills rushing leader was Josh Allen as well, 15 carries for 67 yards, longest of 15. James Cook, 13 carries, 36 yards. So Dolphins were pretty good on stopping the run there, limiting James Cook to under 3 yards at 2.8 per carry. Leonard Fournette, same type of thing there. 7 carries for 20 yards. Ty Johnson had 1 carry for 5. And then for the Miami Dolphins, HN had 10 carries for 56 total yards, a touchdown, and longest of 25. So overall, not the best. If you take out that 25-yard run, it wasn't the most explosive running game by the Dolphins, but it was working. They were getting some yardage. Jeff Wilson, 9 carries for 45 yards, longest of 13. So a little bit more efficient running by Jeff Wilson there. And then Tua had 1 rushing attempt for 7 yards. And then receiving, Khalil Shakir had 6 receptions for 105 yards, longest of 46. Stephon Diggs had 7 receptions for 87 yards, longest of 36. Dalton Kincaid, 7 receptions for 84 yards, longest of 29. And then let's talk about some touchdowns. Spencer Field had a touchdown, so did Dawson Knox. 3 and 2 receptions for both of those guys. And let's talk about the Miami Dolphins receiving. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 23. Durham Smythe, 3 receptions, 30 yards, longest of 14. And then Cedric Wilson Jr., 1 reception, 24 yards. River Craycraft, 1 reception, 18 yards. So, I mean, if that's really explaining anything to you, is that we couldn't get the ball distributed around. Aside from Tyreek Hill, Durham Smythe, and Braxton Berrios, everyone else that had a reception only had 1 reception. The ball wasn't spread out efficiently, and I really don't know what to say about that. It was just not good. It wasn't a good offensive game for the Dolphins at all, especially in the second half. Josh Allen, fumble, lost, and recovered by Christian Wilkins. Defensive stats by the Bills is Terrion Johnson was the leading tackler with 9 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Right after him was Terrell Bernard, 9 total tackles, 3 solo. Jordan Porter, 6 total, 5 solo. And then Daquan Jones had a tackle for a loss. Braylon Spector had a QB hit. My bad. Yeah, no. Uh, Tyrell Dodson had a QB hit, sack, and a tackle for a loss. So that was the one on Devon Achan. And then Dane Jackson had a pass deflection, so did Christian Brentford and Micah Hyde. Greg Russo had a tackle for a loss and two QB hits. And then, last but not least, Taylor Rapp had two pass deflections. For the Miami Dolphins, David Long Jr. was the leading tackler with 10 total tackles, 8 solo. Deshaun Elliott with 10 total tackles, 6 solo, 1 pass deflection. Right after that, Jerome Baker, welcome back, 9 total tackles, 4 solo. And then Brandon Jones, 2 tackles for a loss. Eli Apple, 1 pass deflection. Zach Sealer, half a sack and 2 QB hits. Christian Wilkins, a sack and 3 QB hits. Melvin Ingram, 1.5 sacks and 2 QB hits. Manuel Agba, 1 tackle for a loss. Cameron Gode, 1 QB hit. Broke his leg on that punt return. Feel very, 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 very bad for him. Kader Kohu with 1 pass deflection. All in all, defense did their thing. The touchdown by Trent Sherfield was absolutely nothing short of crazy. You get your defensive, one of your defensive players who bat the ball at the line of scrimmage, and it just flutters up and then just somehow stays in the field of play is absolutely insane. So that is just like, what are you gonna do about that? I mean, shout out to Trent Sherfield making the big play there, but man, oh man, like what? Oh man. Aside from that, the final drive by that Bills offense that secured them the win with the touchdown that took the lead was just really efficient Bills offensive play. Like, they were just moving the ball down the field and getting it into positions where it needed to be. So, kudos to them. Dolphins defense played very well, though. I was really, really pleased with the Dolphins defense. Like, the stop before the half, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see out of the Dolphins defense. So let's continue talking about some defensive stuff. Taylor Rapp had an interception, and so did Christian Benford, and both of them for no return. Eli Apple had an interception, return for 8 yards, and Deshaun Elliott had a return for no yardage. Let's talk about punt returns. Obviously, Deontay Hardy had 1 punt return for 96 yards. And then kicking, Tyler Bass went 3 for 3 on extra points. Jason Sanders went 2 for 2 on extra points. Punting, Sam Martin had 1 punt for 41 yards, and Jake Bailey had that 41-yard punt was in the 20. And then Jake Bailey had 5 punts for 239 yards. 1 was in the 20, longest of 58, and 1 was returned on him. Man, oh man. All right. So, listed off the keys to victory last in the game preview, which was limit Josh Allen. Let him do whatever he does, but bend but don't break type of defense. Like, let him move the ball down the field, but when it comes down to push and shove, you want them not to score. And I think the Dolphins did that very, very well in the first half. The second half is a little bit of a different story, but overall, I wasn't disgusted by the defensive performance. I think the defense did what they needed to do. If you want to point fingers at anybody, it's definitely at the offense. The offense was lackluster in the second half. On top of that, stopping the running game, I feel like the Dolphins did a really good job. Aside from Josh Allen having 67 yards, which that's what he does, 36 and 20 yards by the other 2 running backs, the main running back. So all in all, Dolphins limited basically the Bills running backs to 56 total yards. So overall, I think that was good. But I mean, Josh Allen had 38 dropbacks. So and then well, more than 38. He had how many freaking 38 plus 15 for 53 total dropbacks, and 15 of them were runs. So it's a lot. The defense was out there a long, long time. I mean, as I said, time of possession was heavily in the Bills' favor. It was 38 minutes and 7 seconds to the Dolphins' 21 minutes and 53 seconds. Can't win a game when you don't dominate the ball. Time of possession, just flat out simple there. What else? Offensively, I forgot what I said, but it was pretty much run the ball, and if Waddle was playing, but he did end up playing. But to spread the ball, and the Dolphins failed to do that as well. 7 receptions to Tyreek, Darren Smythe 3 receptions, and then Braxton Burrows 2 receptions, and then everyone else had 1 reception. Not the greatest spread of the ball. I mean, yeah, you got a lot of people involved, but at the end of the day, it wasn't. The production wasn't there. Like Julian Hill, 1 reception, 2 yards. Chase Claypool, 1 reception, 3 yards. Devon Achane, 1 reception, 5 yards. Braxton Berrios, 2 receptions, 9 yards. Like the other impact plays were River Craycraft, 1 reception, 18 yards. That was actually an impact play. Cedric Wilson Jr., 1 reception, 24 yards. Durham Smythe, 3 receptions, 30, and then he had a longest of 14. And then Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions for 82 yards. Like the Dolphins really couldn't move the ball that much. So this all in all wasn't the best. But let me know what you guys thought of the game. Although it was very, very entertaining, it just sucked to see the Dolphins just let it slip away in the fourth quarter. Allowing 14 points in the fourth quarter was absolutely massive for the Buffalo Bills to capitalize in that moment. And the Dolphins had no response. The defense made plays, and the Dolphins' offense couldn't make anything of it, which is very, very upsetting to see as a fan. So that's my take on it. Upcoming for the Miami Dolphins is a big Saturday night wild card game in Kansas City, 8 p.m. kickoff. And Tyreek Hill gets to hopefully get vengeance against this Kansas City Chiefs team that one limited them in Germany, and then on top of that, just man, oh man, just he wants to play his former team pretty bad. I can imagine he wants to do pretty good against them. For example, when Tyreek Hill played against the Kansas City Chiefs, 8 receptions, 62 yards. So not the craziest Tyreek game, but it wasn't horrible either. I definitely know he wants to at least get in the end zone. But man, this Chiefs team is no joke either. So we'll have a preview on that later on. But they're 11-6 as well. They're one of the top teams in the NFL. So it should be a very good matchup, and I'm very excited to see the Dolphins play the Chiefs. But at the end of the day, it's win or go home now. So Dolphins failed in a lot of these big primetime games against big-time opponents, and that's been very, very bad for them. They've beaten all these below 500 teams except for the Dallas Cowboys, and everyone else they've faltered to and have struggled. So I'll have more on a preview for the Kansas City Chiefs game later on this week. But as far as just this previous Dolphins game, it's a heartbreaker. It is what it is. Man. At least they're still in the playoffs. They're playing a decent opponent. Like, don't let Kansas City's lackluster offense, like receivers not catching the ball fully. Like, Kansas City's a really good team. So the Dolphins cannot slip up on this one. And going on the road into Arrowhead, where the Chiefs are been very, very dominant over the past couple of years with Patrick Mahomes and that offense, you definitely want to make sure you have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. So that's pretty much it. Definitely sucked, but what can you do? Beat some 500 teams, win all your home games. Man, it is what it is. That pretty much sums it all up. Appreciate you guys for watching, and just hold out hope. Let's hope the Dolphins get a big win in Kansas City next week. That's all you can ask for. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.